is Shanita, also known as Otitha Inari Nandi Ra.
And I'm Starling, also known as Narma Ra. We're going to do part 2 of our video regarding the 42 laws of MAAT. And before we start, I want you to understand that this video is sponsored by Ancestral Essentials, your one-stop shop for alkaline herbs and spiritual supplies. Click the link in our description box or visit ancestralessentials.com to shop now. Be sure to use the discount code MAAT to get 20% off of your order.
Welcome to MAAT's Divine Law Program. We hope to give you a greater understanding of the laws of MAAT, the great goddess. I have a trivia question here, and it is, why was the ostrich feather chosen as a symbol of the goddess MAAT? Well, in case you don't know, which I just learned, it is because it's the only bird feather that is of equal width on both sides of its central axis, suggesting equity. And the slightest movement of the breath of wind annihilates it. So I thought that would be very interesting for you to learn.
Great. And just as a reminder for those who don't know, our ancestors were from Kemet. The word we use today is Egypt. That's a Greek word, but the original word was Kemet. And through different attacks, the Egyptians migrated west and became the people who settled in West Africa, where we all descended from because of the transatlantic slave trade. So we are Egyptians, and they are our ancestors.
Correct.
We're going to continue on. Number 22 states, I have not polluted myself. There are many ways to pollute yourself, such as alcohol, drugs, unhealthy foods, watching garbage on television, pornography, and reading misinformation. We need to guard against negative influences in our mind. We must protect our minds as well as our bodies. Exercising frequently, eating healthy, and protecting what goes into our mind are steps we can take to keep pollution from us.
So true. I have not polluted myself. To pollute oneself means that I have accepted the world's definition of who I am. My identity is defined by cultural limitations. If I agree with the world's estimate of my worth or value, then I have polluted myself with low self-esteem and an inferiority complex. Any self-image that's less than the divine is wrong. Your value can only be estimated by God. If I accept the negative messages of my subconscious mind or labels given by others, whether parents or teachers, I have polluted myself and cannot fulfill my God-given mission in this lifetime. To pollute myself is to accept the stereotypes of gender, race, age, residence that change my perspective and potential from limitless and free to restricted and fearful. Pollution of our body temple by drugs, alcohol, promiscuity, foul language, poor nutrition, etc. has severe penalties.
Next one. I have not terrorized anyone. To terrorize means to create extreme fear in someone. We must control our anger by acting appropriately, not by threatening anyone or becoming violent. Anger is never justified. We have to control our emotions. Meditation is a technique we can employ to have mastery over our emotions.
So true. I have not terrorized anyone. To terrorize someone is to cause extreme fear due to a threat to their life. Domestic violence, date rape, a hostage situation, or carjacking are classic examples. Threatening to fire a subordinate or to severely punish a child to express rage at another over any issue could very well terrorize them. It is a deliberate act of intimidation to manipulate or control a person who is weaker. A person could be terrorized by blackmail or to pose a threat or violence to their family members. Knowing someone's weaknesses, for example, roller coaster rides, or fear flying or heights, can terrorize them if you knowingly compel them to participate. A person can be terrorized of voodoo, evil spells, or the evil eye. Most people are terrorized of death. So reckless driving can make them feel unsafe or terrorized while riding in the car with you, a speed demon.
I have not disobeyed the law. These affirmative declarations are a guide to live by. Some are easier to adhere to than others, but we have to have self-discipline to be successful in life. By having self-discipline and controlling our thoughts, we can achieve whatever we desire. Having these declarations as a guide to live by helps society to mature.
So true. I have not disobeyed the law. Laws in ancient Kemet were just and based on logic and righteousness, unlike laws in many countries that give benefits to the elite or special privileges, such as tax breaks, that allow them to be exempt from paying taxes. Laws based on MAAT values are always for the good or benefit of the citizens. When laws are fair, they should be followed because of the overall advantages gained by the people. Laws that allow gerrymandering have to be overturned by laws that promote democracy. MAAT laws were always for the betterment of Kemet and the world. They were non-discriminatory and aided the welfare and organization of society. MAAT laws are based on divine principles and promote model citizens, justice, and peace. MAAT laws were guidelines that promoted communal living, cooperation, bartering, and sustainability. MAAT laws enhance the natural environment. There were dietary laws that promoted health and longevity, social laws that promoted peace and goodwill among neighbors.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
I have not been exclusively angry. Having extreme anger will cost a person a lot of difficulties in life. Angry people are seldom happy. Consequently, they will have health problems and have relationship issues. We have to teach coping skills at an early age.
That's right. I have not been extremely or exclusively angry. Anyone who is extremely angry is a threat to everyone around, and they're capable of mass murder, arson, kidnapping, rape, carjacking, bombings, and other acts of terrorism and vengeance, because they are literally insane. Children have temper tantrums, but because they're small, their actions can be curtailed. However, an adult with a temper problem is a ticking time bomb, potentially very destructive and a hazard to themselves. It's a scientific fact that a person's IQ lowers when they get angry. Angry is a very low vibration, on par with hate. Anger precedes any crime of passion. Anger is senseless, and people who allow themselves to get extremely angry are fools, and they cause themselves to have poor health due to the high energy exerted by anger and the high level of stress. Extreme anger profits no one, so it pays to control our emotions and resolve problems intelligently. Anger that is targeted at exclusively one group because of hatred for them is also rooted in irrational emotions. However, since hatred knows no bounds, the people who target groups outside of themselves do not realize the reality that anger is a frame of mind that spreads hatred from the outside group to those in close proximity, like family members. So usually, such offenders wind up in court or jail for domestic violence. Anger is irrational and a cruel spirit that cannot be contained. It is like a wildfire that's totally out of control, and all means to douse it invariably fails because it is insane and thrives on anger.
Very good.
Thanks, son.
I have not cursed God, goddess. To curse means to use words or phrases to express anger. We need to use our words to build up, not tear down. Who in their right mind would curse God? God is omnipotent. How can we be angry with God? It's our duty to use the talents that God gave each of us for His edification.
That's right. I have not cursed God, goddess. The Holy Spirit of God is within everyone, even the vilest person. To curse or disrespect another is sacrilegious. Violating a person through injurious treatment is cursing them. The treatment can be emotional in nature. Verbal abuse is cursing the God within another. And judging anyone as less than a perfect child of God is an attempt to curse them. Casting an evil eye of envy, jealousy, or hatred will always ricochet back to senders. We are one spirit with one another and our Creator. Oneness cannot be divided. Therefore, we can only send bad vibrations in word, thought, and deeds to the illusion of another. Since all form is illusory, nothing in reality is happening to affect another. It's futile and insane to think that an illusion can experience an effect that is caused by you. God is the only cause, and we all, in truth, live, breathe, and have our being or existence in it.
Very good.
Thank you.
I have not behaved with violence. Violence, especially family violence, is unnecessary. To destroy property or to harm someone cannot be tolerated. We need to teach family values in school. We must set positive examples for our children.
I have not behaved with violence. Violence is extremely harsh conduct that leads to abuse, bullying, murder, assault, molestation, rape, theft, burglary, vandalism, arson, and many other insane and atrocious, inhumane outbursts. There's mob violence, like that exhibited by the insurrection on the U.S. Capitol. Violence demonstrates a lack of intelligent solutions to a perceived crisis. It is an overreaction caused by an unsavory temperament, often hurting the ones closest to us. Children throw temper tantrums when they don't get what they want. In adults, anger often precedes violence. It is an emotional state that precipitates violence. Self-control is essential to having a long and prosperous life. Acts of violence are self-destructive on many levels. A common consequence of violent acts is incarceration. Violence is unacceptable in any civilized society. It destroys homes and marriages. When violence in the workplace occurs, the offender is fired and barred from the premises. Violence, in short, is a crime, and it is also a characteristic of the Antichrist, or anti-humanity, or the energy that detests righteousness and unity, or oneness.
Very good.
Thank you.
Awesome. Number 28, I have not caused a disruption of peace. Having a calm demeanor is an admirable characteristic. Being a peacemaker is a worthy title. We should never start a fight. Our goal should be to seek compromise between two or more parties if a quarrel has begun. Additionally, we should also never start a fight or argument.
That's right. I have not caused disruption of peace. Peace is essential to having a stable life. The Holy Spirit can only enter a mind that is at peace. When someone disrupts peace, they shatter a calm environment, replacing it with chaos and wahala, or confusion. Scripture states Satan is the author of confusion. It is an unwholesome state of mind that causes stress, depression, and illness. Peace is critically important to make progress and build anything worthwhile. When peace is disrupted, a person's state of mind experiences hell. But when there's peace, the mind can think of solutions to problems, increase productivity, and be more creative. Being a peacemaker benefits personal and work relationships and the ability to settle disputes through positive communication. War is an extreme example of the disruption of peace.
It sure is. 29, I have not acted hastily or without thought. This principle teaches us to always think before we act. We should never rush to judgment. Being wise is a great quality. We should never make an important financial decision without sleeping on it. Impulsive spending is the reason for so much credit card debt.
That's right. Thank you. I have not acted hastily or without thought. People make many mistakes because of not thoroughly thinking through a problem, circumstance, or situation. Seldom does a matter achieve the most effective outcome when emotions cloud one's thinking. The mind is the vehicle through which the Holy Spirit functions and gives wisdom. To act hastily without thought means you made a decision without going within to confer with the Holy Spirit, and you reap the consequences of such haste by sufferings instead of benefiting from the power of your mind. Mind power is the ultimate inner technology that leads to positive solutions or outcomes. It's creative and where all genius stems from. Acting in haste always leads to disastrous outcomes. Take time to pray over every important issue or concern to maintain a great or elevated quality of life.
That's right. I have not overstepped my boundaries of concern. Always keep balance. Things are never bad as they seem. This principle keeps fear from creeping into our mind. We need to have a level head in the midst of chaos. Worry will harm bodies as well as our mind.
I have not overstepped my boundaries of concern. Whenever we get out of our lane and find ourselves overly involved in another person's business, there is risk of being embarrassed because of tending to someone else's business, oftentimes neglecting our own. Focus goes where attention flows. If you are a busybody, you are wasting your precious time being involved in concerns that are not remotely relevant to anything that will aid or assist you in advancing in life. In other words, you cannot reach your own life goals meddling in the affairs of another person. It's common sense. Being distracted is a diversion. To succeed in life, you have to maintain your focus, which is impossible if you overstep your boundaries of concern.
Mm-hmm. I have not exaggerated my words when speaking. This is a very good one. Be accurate and factual when you speak to others. Exaggerating does not have a place in normal conversation. Being precise is a better way of communicating. Children tend to do this. Adults need to be specific when speaking.
That's right. I have not exaggerated my words when speaking. Our subconscious mind is the home or abode of the ego. When it's in charge, we can more easily become braggadocious or inflate our communication with others, even to the point of lying or being deceitful. Sometimes our mouth speaks before our brains are engaged, and we simply make up stuff that's false. For whatever reason, excessive speech can take us down the wrong path. Some people characteristically misspeak and gain a reputation of having questionable character. Generally, people tend to exaggerate because of an inferiority complex in an attempt to compensate for what they feel they lack. Low self-esteem may cause someone to boast or brag to others about their credentials, education, finances, experiences, relationships, name drop, material possessions, and family backgrounds. Under pressure during a job interview, many people exaggerate their qualifications to get the job. In the early stages of a relationship, people may exaggerate to get a second date by covering up pertinent details that could cause the other person to lose interest.
I have not worked evil. To plan to do evil against another person is unacceptable. Only good thoughts and a pure heart is pleasing to God. Doing evil shows you have hatred in your heart. Remember, if you do good, you will receive good in return. But if you do evil, then evil will return to you.
That's right. I have not worked evil. Evil acts, including speech, is always preceded by evil thoughts and intentions. Doing evil deeds causes injury and worse. At times, evil deeds involve collusion. Instead of using their time, energy, and resources to contribute to humanity, evildoers always conspire to target people and cause them to suffer, which is insane. Nevertheless, such sadistic culprits exist, and the best way to abate their evil deeds is by spiritual protection. Being a person of high character is a high vibration that can repel the fiery darts of an evil one. Prayer is also an effective deterrent. Righteousness is always more effective than evil. Evil has no power over good. Stay on the winning side by never doing evil against anyone.
Mm-hmm. I have not polluted the water. In ancient times, people retrieved water from wells and streams. Collecting water is a tedious task in Africa today. If someone contaminated the water, it would have a far-reaching effect on the community. This principle is teaching us to be caring and careful and consider our actions.
Okay, so number 33. Number 33, I have not used evil thoughts, words, or deeds. Evil thoughts can lead one astray and into saying and doing negative, wicked things. Keeping pure thoughts and motives allows us to maintain a high vibration and to attract positive experiences. Having a better life leads to overall good health and happiness. Words can be used to benefit someone or to cause hurt feelings and anger. Words are undoubtedly powerful. Kind words can inspire or encourage someone to achieve their goals. Harsh words lower a person's morale and causes them to sometimes fail. Though some claim when others express doubt in their abilities, they want to prove them wrong by working even harder to achieve their goals. Even in this case, it was the words of doubt that triggered the person to forge ahead. Use your words wisely because what you say, you also hear, and they can bless or curse you. In the end, though, only if you believe what is said about you will the magic or alchemy result in boosting your self-esteem or crushing it. The power of belief trumps all curses, negative intent, and acts. You can only hurt yourself by what you accept into your consciousness as true about you.
Okay, and then that was my, lost my place, so my version of 33, I have not used evil thoughts, words, or deeds. The purpose of these declarations is to teach self-control. We are responsible for what we think, say, and do. Life rewards love, peace, righteousness, and joy. Live a life worthy of imitation.
That's right. Number 34, I have not polluted the water. Our bodies are made up of a high percentage of water. It has been scientifically proven that thoughts can change the chemical composition and structure of water. To pollute yourself by believing falsehoods of who you are is very detrimental to your life. It can even change your DNA. On the other hand, if you have a positive attitude about yourself and others, your chemistry, energy, and constitution will be healthy and beautiful. When you think negatively about yourself, you also harm the 50 trillion cells within your body, who are your genetic ancestors. A false image is one that depicts you as less than a perfect child of God. If you see yourself as inferior for any reason, you are causing a wide net that will make others see you as inferior too. Movies and the media are vast pollution distribution centers. Self-hate triggers an enormous negative reaction from the environment, and it attracts poverty and mental and physical poor health. Since we are mind, body, and spirit, we have to keep a high vibration by having a positive mindset and an optimistic attitude, along with having good nutrition. That is, if you want to thrive and be victorious in all areas of your life here in the third dimension, which is planet Earth. We are a reflection of the Most High Creator. So assess where you are through introspection and make improvements in the quality of your water.
Very good. 35. I have not spoken angrily or arrogantly. This principle is telling us not to lose control of our temper. Keep a cool head and speak kind words. How you speak to someone is important. Never speak condescending to another person. Don't think of yourself as being better than your neighbor.
That's right. I have not spoken angrily or arrogantly. Arrogance is having an air of superiority to feel you're better than another person. Always their sense of superiority is rooted in a deep-seated sense of inferiority. They are extremely desperate for attention. It is a way of attempting to compensate. People flaunt their wealth who are not accustomed to having it. They're braggadocious and often name drop or show off and parade excessively whatever they feel is of value in society or in their circles. They tend to compare themselves usually to people who seem to be in worse condition or of a seemingly lower status. They're obsessed with their possessions, flattering comments and likes on social media, accolades, and who's who that they know or have met. They are shallow, fake, and insincere, often gossipers and two-faced. Or they stick to themselves because they think everyone else is inferior and not good enough to be in their presence. Anger and fear are at the root of all crime, offenses, wars, assaults, etc. It is a detestable character flaw that is unfortunately all too common and overlooked. It is a form of mental illness that desperately needs to be addressed by spiritual treatment to be healed.
36. I have not cursed anyone in thought, words, or deeds. To curse means to inflict harm or punishment on someone. This means do not have ill intent against anyone. Only a pure heart can make it to the field of reeds, and that was the Egyptians' version of heaven, which was ancient Kemet's name for heaven, the field of reeds.
Thank you. I have not cursed anyone in thought, words, or deeds. Having a good temperament is an advantage in life. An angry disposition causes people to act inappropriately. A curse is rooted in hatred, envy, and evil intent. It's a spell sent forth from an evil-hearted person who wants to cause harm to another. Instead of seeing the good in their target, they see a reflection of themselves and judge the person as an enemy or threat. Actions or spiteful deeds and words that convey animosity are obvious. Negative thoughts cannot always be so easily detected. Friends, family, and neighbors can harbor negative, unfounded thoughts against an unsuspecting, innocent person they're close to. The negative energy of a fake friend can be detected by spiritual surveillance. What's hidden will be revealed. All abhorrent actions, words, and deeds will always be exposed, leading to dissolution of the relationship, clearing the path for genuinely authentic bonds. Everyone deserves happiness and true love.
Yes, most definitely. 37. I have not placed myself on a pedestal. To think that you are better than someone else is self-deceit. Being humble and having compassion are qualities we should strive for. Many times success in life will cause someone to think more highly of himself than he should. Never forget where you have come from. Don't let your head get too big.
That's right. I have not placed myself on a pedestal. Arrogant people place themselves on a pedestal to let the world know how great they are. They hold themselves in high esteem, and they're extremely proud of their own achievements. Egomaniacs have lofty thoughts of themselves and low opinions of others, and they focus on the advantages they can gain from any situation. They're selfish, self-centered, greedy, vain vampires. Typically, they are the primary cause of their own demise and failure, and when they fall down from their pedestals, they don't get much compassion because the greatest relationships they have is with themselves. The same people they saw when going up the ladder of success are the same ones they'll see when plummeting off their pedestals. Perhaps when they topple down, the experience will teach them an important lesson about vainglory, that no one is an island and no one makes it to the top without someone helping them somewhere along the line. While on their self-made pedestal, eagles inflate to maximum capacity. They tend to overlook the contributions and sacrifices of others that led to their success. Had it not been for the generosity, wisdom, vision, and kind-hearted assistance they received from others, they would have never attained their dreams or goals. So, keep a humble attitude and give credit and thanks to the people who serve and bless your life.
Very good. That's awesome.
Thank you, dear.
I have not stolen what belongs to God, Goddess. The question is, what belongs to God? God created this planet. When we pollute the sky, water, and air, we steal from God. It is our job to be good stewards of what we have been given.
That's right. I have not stolen what belongs to God, Goddess. The gods have blessed us in a myriad of ways. Stealing is an act of dishonesty. Such character does not indicate that we as humans are reflections of God, Goddess. Know ye not that we are gods, Rabboni Yeshua declared. Anyone who shares the nature of God does not hoard or steal, but instead, out of their abundance, gives generously. All that belongs to our Creator Father is the Son's. So to steal means that a person lacks faith in God's provision, and they question God, Goddess's goodness, justice, and love for them. As provider and giver of all that is, God, Goddess bestows an overabundance of blessings from the treasures of heaven upon us. Surely, these all-powerful deities will have mercy on a poor, delusional soul that has had an identity crisis and repents, realizing that thievery is a grave error. Stealing causes disharmony, and it is a sign of impoverishment. Theft is an error in thinking that fools a person into believing the impossible can occur. Stealing from the vaults of God, Goddess, is an option. A mistake of this nature borders on insanity, since deities know the hearts of mankind, and everything that we own will one day be left behind at death's doorstep, and we will have to give an account of every deed. It's preposterous to think that anyone can abscond with material goods or treasures from God's storehouse, except the greatest ones, which are freely given: love, compassion, joy, peace, and forgiveness.
I have not stolen from or disrespected the deceased. By not honoring your righteous ancestors, you steal from them. Remember the words of encouragement your elders shared with you. Pray for your ancestors while they are in the spirit world. Teach your children about them.
That's right. I have not stolen from or disrespected the deceased. The deceased are no longer on this plane if they've ascended into the allness of our Creator, or reincarnated, or reside in other dimensions. To disrespect the deceased or an ancestor occurs when their family members lose their way and get lost in carnality or the material trappings or lusts of this world. They dishonor the deceased by failing to live up to the greatness and destiny that God assigned to them due to moral weakness or disillusionment. Grave robbers confiscate jewels from the bodies of the deceased, not realizing that the spirits of the deceased will haunt them until they return the valuables to their grave. Sometimes people steal their burial plots to spare the expense of paying for one. Cheating the morticians and cemeteries of funds for services rendered is despicable. Cheating disrespects, and all negative acts discredits your family name and ancestors. When we function on a low vibration and are not productive, our ancestors cringe. Sometimes people urinate on the graves of the ancestors that they detest. Obviously, they harbor bitter unforgiveness, and they are in great need of truth and salvation. They cannot reach their full potential harboring ill will against the deceased or anyone else.
40. I've not taken food from a child. You take food from a child when you don't fully provide for your children. Parents, especially the father, needs to provide for his family. A child should never go to bed hungry. If there's a shortage of food, the child should be fed first.
Exactly. I have not taken food from a child. You have to wonder, if an adult will steal from a child, just how corrupt are they? Cheating children of food can cause them to be hungry and malnourished. It is a very selfish act and a poor example to a child. Children are dependent on adults to feed and care for them. They are seeing all that occurs, even if they are not present to observe you stealing from them. Their souls migrate because they are not bound spatially. Their spirits are fully manifested, even though they're little children. They are masters at remote viewing. So sneaking their food is futile because they're aware of all that is happening in their environment. Children record everything in their subconscious minds, especially from the last trimester of their mother's pregnancy through 7 years of age, and no one can deceive them. If roguish adults take a child's food, the child not only learns it's okay to steal, but he or she learns that betrayal of trust and taking advantage of others is acceptable, especially if they're defenseless and weak. Why do you think brutality, rape, assault, elder abuse, pedophilia, kidnappings, etc. are so prevalent in the world. Children learn what they live. When they become teenagers or adults, they acquire inappropriate ideas and are insensitive to humanity, which in turn causes them to perpetrate heinous crimes that they learned when they were exploited and taken advantage of by their parents, caregivers, and others responsible for being honest and righteous.
I have not acted with insolence. To treat your family and neighbors with respect is important. Being rude or disrespectful has no place in a just or righteous society. We have to teach our children to be polite and respectful.
That's right. I have not acted with insolence. Acting with insolence is displaying inappropriate, despicable, immature behavior. A major cause is lack of manners, culture, refinement, sensibility, and old-fashioned home training. Some consider being disrespectful cool, but people who know better do better. It's a big, competitive world, and there is no room for ignorance or insolence. Parents need to train their children to be respectful, and children need to show they come from civilized environments. In public, they're a reflection of their upbringing, home, and parents. Whenever anyone behaves inappropriately in public, it's very offensive. Loud talking and loud laughing, cussing, holding your penis, pants worn down, exposing buttocks, and provocative dress allows people to categorize you as ignorant, pathetic, and low class. If it's true, then it's a sad commentary on your character. So always be respectful and considerate of the rights of everyone.
Very good. This is number 42, the last one. I have not destroyed property belonging to God, goddess. Humans are destroying the planet God created by cutting down trees in the rainforest, strip mining for coal, and fracking for oil. We have a duty to our children and our grandchildren to protect the planet. We are currently in the middle of a 6th mass extinction. We have to stop our reckless behavior.
That's right. I have not destroyed property belonging to God, goddess. Destruction is the opposite of construction or to build. As third-dimensional beings, we should always be moving forward and progressing. Property is symbolic of something valuable. All life is the property of the gods, so we should be good overseers and always protect and guard what we're custodians over. People, places, and things all belong to the gods and require our care and attention. Just like a garden, if we tend to it wisely, it will bless us with a bountiful yield.
Fantastic. It's been a pleasure translating the 42 laws of MAAT to you. We hope you enjoyed our version and our presentation. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. As we go forward, we'll be posting more comedic information for your enjoyment.
We love you, and we look forward to you tuning in to our next program.